All right, I got 6 p.m. Everybody ready? I'd like to call the Oglesby City Council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Here.
Finley.
Here.
McDermott.
Here.
Stefani.
Here.
Curran.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, number 4, public comment on agenda items only.
Good evening. If you don't know, I'm chair of the planning commission here in town. And recently, this is an on, isn't it?
It's on.
It's on.
It's on.
And recently, the planning commission had a meeting for 2 purposes. One, to introduce the new members. So we have 5 new members to the planning commission. And secondly, to look at the possibility of updating the comprehensive plan. A comprehensive plan is a long-range and short-range guide for the development and growth of the city. And by ordinance, Plan Commission is responsible for developing and updating the comprehensive plan. Comprehensive plan was last done in 2020. So it's 5 years old. And there's quite a number of things that have happened since then, which would require that the plan be updated. We had a meeting and discussed the possibility of the Plan Commission themselves updating the plan. While we do have capability, we don't have that kind of capability to really hold a meeting, pull all the information together and compile it into a document that would really be the kind of document we want as a comprehensive plan. So we are proposing to the council that they accept the proposal from the North Central Illinois Council of Governments for $10,500 for them to facilitate the updating of the comprehensive plan. The other item I'd like to address just briefly is the request for the Illinois Municipal League to give a presentation on the different forms of government. In 2009, the comprehensive plan had one of the goals to really look at the forms of government and see if there was any other form of government that would be better and more effective than the current form of government in the city. That was never accomplished. It was pulled out of the plan in the 2020 plan. So it is not part of the comprehensive plan at this point. If the council wants to pursue this as a possibility, it belongs in the hands of the Plan Commission to come up with a recommendation and a review of the council's form of government. So if the city wants to go that direction, it should be sent to the Plan Commission, and they should hold a meeting if they're going to hold it. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Any other comments on public agenda items only? Seeing that there's none, we'll move on. Number 5, approve minutes from the November 4th, 2024 regular session. If there's no additions, corrections, or modifications, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Thanks, Rich.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Finley.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Stefani.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye. Number 6, approve bills presented for payment in the amount of $636,035.19. If there's no corrections, additions, or modifications, can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Finley.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Stefani.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye. Number 7, approve payroll for November 8th, 2024 in the amount of $146,216.54. If there's no additions, corrections, or modifications, can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the payroll. Second.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Finley.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Stefani.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye. Number 8, approve resolution R-11182024, cost sharing agreement with county for dry bridge replacement. McDermott.
All right, guys. We've been waiting for this for a long time. All right. We actually need it. We got it all set to go. It's cost sharing with the county. All right. Anybody got any questions on it? If not,
We'll go around the room. Aldridge?
I don't have any questions.
No, I think we've spoken enough about it.
Yes, we have.
My understanding is we already kind of approved everything, but this was the actual resolution for the funding, is my understanding. I think, right? I think when we, that's correct? We did approve it, but then we found out that you needed an actual resolution for it, I believe.
Is that your understanding too, Jim? Okay, I had thought we had approved this too, so I was surprised to see this was back on the agenda, but,
That's my understanding of it.
We approved the intergovernmental agreement.
right,
Yeah.
Part of that, we agreed to pass a funding resolution.
okay.
That's the part we haven't.
Guess it sounds like you need it then.
Sounds like a plan.
Absolutely.
Project's got to go forward.
All right. If there's no other questions or comments, can I get a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution R111-82024, cost sharing agreement with county for the dry bridge replacement.
Second.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge,
Aye.
Finley,
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Stefani,
Aye.
Kern.
Number 9, approve and place on file the recommendation from Plan Commission to update the comprehensive plan with North Central Council of Governments leading the effort. We'll just go around the room. If anybody's got any comments or topics on it, Stephanie?
I was at the meeting when they brought it up, and I thought they did a good job discussing it, and I'm in favor of pursuing it the way that they advise us to.
Yeah, I'm good. It takes a long time to update a comprehensive plan and needs to be done.
McDermott?
I was also there. I agree, it does take some time, and I am all for it.
Aldridge?
I was at the meeting as well, and I believe that we should allow the professionals to take care of this one. So I agree to approving this.
Yeah, if you look in the comprehensive plan, it does say in there that it recommends to be updated every 5 to 10 years, and it has been 5 years. We have had quite a bit of things go on, so it needs some kind of update. And the Plan Commission got together and made a recommendation, so I think we should probably go for it. There's no other comments, or you can get a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation from the Plan Commission to update the comprehensive plan with NCICG leading the effort.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge,
Aye.
Finley,
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Stefani,
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. Number 10, ordinance number 1274-111824, Rossy easement agreement. McDermott.
Okay, guys, we're not quite ready for this, so we'll hold it for the next council meeting. Okay?
And I think I may bear some responsibility in that. I found out from Ross and Greg when I came in tonight that they wanted this on the agenda. It was my understanding after I revised that easement early last week that I thought they were going to run it past the Rossies
Yeah.
and make sure they were happy with the changes. And then we would, I thought, have them sign it and then bring it to the council. But Ross told me when I came in that he wanted the council to approve it before the Rossies signed it.
Right.
So we just got out of sync. I certainly can have an ordinance ready for the next meeting if you guys want to move forward.
Okay.
The only change was the addition of some responsibilities for the city
Correct.
to plant some trees on the top of the ridge overlooking the new sewage treatment plant to kind of screen that from their view. Is that right, Ross? Yeah. That was not in the original agreement I had drafted.
Is there any time sensitiveness with this at all?
No,
I think
we got it.
be prepared by the next meeting. That's no problem.
Okay.
And Jim, can I ask you a question? Is there any chance we'll be ready for the other track easement from Lone Star on that date? Because if so, I'd prepare the ordinance to approve them both. Don't know.
We gave the easement to them to sign.
Yeah.
Sign it, gave them sign. There's no cost to the city, it's just.
No, but we're going to have to get approval from the council to sign that easement because they're accepting certain responsibilities there, just like this one. So if you get it back in time to let me slide it into the next meeting, we could approve both of them at that time. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
So is it your recommendation that you want to table it for now then?
Yeah, it'd be my recommendation that we table ordinance number 1274-111824 Rossy easement agreement.
Does anybody else have any concerns or questions? Was that
Second.
Was that a motion?
Yes.
Okay. And we have a second. Roll call, please.
Baldridge,
Aye.
Finley,
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Stefani,
Aye.
Kern.
Number 11, award bid for cable and conduit for Malik Substation project. Aldridge.
As we discussed last time, this is just to award the bid to Fletcher Reinhardt for $36,676.16 for the cable and tracking or whatever, cable and conduit for Malik Substation project.
Any other feedback on Stephanie?
No, we took it up last meeting, so I'm,
McDermott?
No, it's cut and dried.
Yep, it was pretty cut and dry. I thought I liked how we got at least 2 quotes for it, and one, there was a
Absolutely.
significant difference between them. So if there's no other comments, if we can get a motion to approve.
I'd like to make a motion to approve to award the bid for cable and conduit from Alex Substation project.
And I'll
Second.
second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge,
Aye.
Finley,
aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Stefani,
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. Number 12, approve liability insurance renewal with Illinois Municipal Insurance Co-op. Stefanelli.
All right. It's time for renewal of the city property and liability insurance policy with our cooperative. And just like our health insurance, the premiums have increased. City clerk and I will continue to compare our options. And if we can keep our claims low and minimal in frequency, that'll lower our risk level, which is obviously what our premiums are based off of. Some of the things that we can do is the online safety training for the electric and the street department personnel, and the mandatory workplace training for all of us. That obviously helps too. So I'll keep that moving along, and we'll keep shopping it. But everything that we have has gone up as far as insurance goes. And we actually have a meeting this week for the health insurance aspect, and those premiums have gone up too. So any questions for me? If not, that's kind of where we're at with it. It's in your packet that went up 10%. So
Go around the room. Finley, any feedback? McDermott?
No, it's pretty cut and dry.
It is, unfortunately. Baldridge? All right. Thanks for looking at it. Thanks for the review.
Okay.
We get a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the renewal with Illinois Municipal Insurance Cooperative.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Finley,
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Stefani,
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. Number 13, raffle license for Oglesby Public Library. One of the great institutions we have in the city. I don't think this is relatively self-explanatory. Anybody have any feedback on that, just for an open floor? All right. Well, in that case, if we can get a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the raffle license for the Oglesby Public Library.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Finley,
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Stefani,
Aye.
Kern.
Number 14, old business. I have nothing listed under there. Number 15, new business. We've got a few items. First one is second opinion on wastewater treatment plant. McDermott.
Okay. Everybody's aware where we're at on this, okay? Gentlemen of the council, we are all aware of the cost of the wastewater treatment plant. Even with the low interest loan, will put a burden on this community that it may not be able to afford without other ways of financial comments. I feel that it is our responsibility as elected officials to ensure to our residents that the cost is justified and is correct and is in a correct route to meet the needs of our residents and that of the future growth of the city of Oglesby. This is saying by no means that I or anyone else on this council does not trust or feel in any way that the Chamlin's engineers did anything wrong. But we are assuring the residents of Oglesby that the engineers are correct and that we have done the best to ensure the best for Oglesby. Gentlemen, this is why I'm asking for the approval of a second opinion. You'll see, you all have paperwork on the second opinion. Okay? If you look at it, you got any questions, let me know. If you look on the, I believe it's the back page, it'll actually give you a reference as to their cost. Okay? Might be the one right before it too. Sorry. No. My apologies, guys. It's the third one. Third from the back.
Do we have different forms? Mine's on the second page.
Oh,
Yeah, project overview is where it gives you the total estimate of project costs.
the total
And then if you go down
will
on
be
their
on the
fee.
second.
Payment terms.
Yeah, their fee is under payment terms.
Yeah.
We'll go around the room. If anybody's got any comments, Baldridge?
I feel that we wouldn't be doing our due diligence by not having a second opinion on this. That's quite a bit of money, and as you said, we're having a hard time even come up with that money anyway. So if we could find a way to save any sort of money, I feel we should be doing that.
Definitely.
I'll address the financial part of it later on, but I do want to say that I do think that Chamlin's has done a good job on this. I do agree with you. This is not anything directed at them, but I think when you have something proposed for $40 million, I do agree that it's good to have an independent review. So at least this way we could say that we've not left any stone unturned on it. So I know that this is a reputable firm, and I do support the independent review of it.
Finley?
No, haven't.
Okay. My 2 cents with it is I do agree with the concept. I mean, if you have a $30 to $40 million wastewater treatment plant you're bringing in, I do think it's a good fiduciary responsibility to have all the checks in the boxes. So the good news is if you do something like this and it comes back confirmed, well, then that's great. They confirm that you're doing all the right steps, and this is, maybe they look at our situation completely and say, yeah, this is probably the best plan you really need to come up with. That makes sense. The concern there's 2 concerns I have though with it.
Okay.
One, what would happen if they came back and said, we don't think that's the best plan because we're so far along in the process now? That puts us at a real conundrum. But I am in the belief of, would you rather be in the camp of not knowing or knowing? And I'd always rather be in the camp of knowing. The other thing is, so I'm just seeing this now is the cost. I'm not saying they don't deserve to be paid for their services, but $44,000 seems like quite a bit to review existing plans. Matter of fact, if you look at the 4th page, it has their rates in here.
Referring to before.
Even if it was just their principal engineer doing all of the work, that would be approximately 200 hours of review for something like that. And, this is where I don't know enough about detailed engineering plans. If it really takes 200 hours or more, depending on who's looking at this, to really review existing plans. That seems pretty steep. I wish I had a little bit more time to kind of talk about this ahead of time to see if that's the best way. Because instead of just a quoted price, is it possible was there any talks about if we could get an hourly rate of review, or has that been?
Well,
I mean, we spoke to them
Yeah.
together,
Okay.
and what he had said was for the size and the scope of the project, it's not something that you're just going to flip through and just say,
right.
yeah, everything's good, or no, this you can do this a little different. So they actually, the way that I understood it, or the way that it was explained to me when he had talked to us, was that they would actually have construction people coming in and looking at one aspect of it. They would have the water people coming in and looking at the plumbing aspect of it. And there's different groups. Now, I'm not an engineer, so I can't tell you the ins and outs, but that was my understanding of how it was explained to us. And
And it is all broken on the 3rd page from the back. It's broken in who's what they're going to look at.
You have that?
Yeah.
I don't have that.
you're talking
Well,
about their
the-
fee schedule.
like-
Principal
That's just the
engineer,
schedule. Yeah, that's not how
No.
he's going to work
I
on something. That's
understand.
just the schedule.
that's their schedule.
But you figure for the cost of the project, we're already $1 million into it as far as the design on it. I mean, I think, I would have expected a higher number. That's just,
Well, it's
my-
also based on a percentage of the cost of the 40 million. That's what it is.
Yeah, I wish it'd be quoted a little differently. That's just, I do think it is an important step, and we'd be doing the taxpayers a service by just making sure that we're verifying we're doing it the right way. I mean, this is the biggest expense the city's ever taken on in
Ever.
its history.
That's the big
and right now we're not able to afford it. We need relief.
We're
without
looking at a
other
lot of-
funding.
And I'll address
somehow.
that later on.
Okay. You want to address it, this topic? or-
No, I'll go through it when the time's appropriate to address the financials.
Okay.
Mm.
We went around. Anybody else have anything else to like the open floor? Talk about it?
I mean, in order to stay on schedule for January bids, this is something that has to move along quick, correct?
Yeah, my only 2 cents is you're under a consent decree with the
Right.
Environmental Protection Agency to get this plant up and running by a date certain. I wouldn't
Yeah.
want any of this to slow down your progress because you're gonna have a hard time meeting those deadlines anyway.
Mhm.
Correct.
Okay.
And I believe he gives you a timeline in there, right?
Yes, you did.
January. it says.
Timeline when you have it done.
No, wait a
January.
minute. Unless, I think the year's wrong. It says January 2024. Oh, that's the name of the plan. I don't know if it has a, let me see here.
There should be a timeline for completion. Let me open it back up. here.
60 days after receiving all documents and plans.
60 days. There you go.
So, okay, if there's no other further questions, can I get a motion?
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the second opinion on the wastewater treatment plant.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge,
Aye.
Finley,
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Stefani,
Aye.
Kern.
Aye.
And I do want to state this has nothing against Chamlin's. They do an awesome job. Okay.
Next item, lease agreement with Altifer Equipment for center pivot backhoe, McDermott.
Okay, once again, you guys have the paperwork in front of you. You'll see the invoice for the tractor, the one we have now. It's already cost us over $24,746. And this was given to me about the middle of last month, gentlemen. To rental, as when we put one in this shop, it's costing us $4,000 a week. If you look on the other page, the proposal that we got from them, it's annual payment is $39,760. We're almost there, guys. And the year's not over. Granted, that's for 1 year, but we're looking at over 5 years. That doesn't even count the maintenance. All right. And we got to also think about the safety of the operators and people that are working underneath them. Okay. Not only is this the tractor, the reason why I first put it as an equipment, because it's more than just a tractor. The one we're looking at now, it's got a street sweeper and everything attachment. If we need it, go down there. If we can rent it, get it done. A lot of the equipment that the city doesn't have works on this tractor. It'll help us lower cost and get things done quicker. It just helps the city all the way around. I mean, I understand there's a difference between 24 and 36 a year, but it's got a lot of opportunities to it. Not only that, the maintenance is right there at their own business, and it's an Oglesby business, and that's what we need to support. All right.
We'll go around the room. Aldridge, any comments?
I just would like to know exactly what was done for the $24,000 and if that is anticipated as being a recurring cost. I would assume that whatever had been done probably shouldn't have to be done again within the next 5 years. Obviously, there's going to be normal wear and tear, but
Right.
I just having a hard time swallowing that we're going to pay that amount of money.
Stephanie?
I'm looking at it, and you got 5 annual payments of
Right. 30.
$30,600 or $767.93 a year,
Correct.
and then your balloon payment, your last payment is $39,760. And right now we got some costs that we're getting hit with between all these projects. So I'd like to sit down with you and Dan especially and see if we can come up with a way to maybe prolong this. I'm not saying that we don't need it. I'm just saying if it's something that can wait until after the new year, if we can get a month or two where we can sit down and really look at it. I mean, that's where I'm coming from. I'm not saying no, I'm just saying hopefully we can sit down and crunch some numbers.
Finley?
Yeah, I would probably like to see if we can push it off till like next year and, try to get by until we can see our financing for the plant and everything else that we're looking to do.
Okay.
If possible, that's where I would look at it to see what the finances look like and stuff like that, if that's possible.
My 2 cents is, yeah, I understand the value and the need that we have to have two operational backhoes in the city in case one would be down or something has to happen to one. We actually use these devices to, pull trees out of the way when things happen, or, this is the first I'm hearing about, though, the possible attachment of like a street sweeper
Oh, yeah.
and things like that. If that could replace another piece of gear or something in the city. I kind of would like to know the status of both of them. I know many years ago, we had a major maintenance. I shouldn't say many years ago. It was like 2 or 3 years ago. We had a major maintenance done on one of them. I'm not sure if this is the one that's the problematic one or if that was the other one. I would like to kind of get an update on just what both the statuses of our equipment is, so we know that, and then we have look at our options and stuff. And also, if we have, unless it's an emergency that has to be filled today, I would also love to see if we can. We have a habit of sometimes trying to fix a need immediately. I'd rather put it into the appropriations for the next year, so that way we can kind of budget for it a little bit better if that's the case. But for me, I'd like kind of a status update on all of our equipment. That's my 2 cents.
Okay, I can get you that.
Okay. Anything else from anybody else?
Do you want to table it for right now?
Well, let's go ahead and I'll table it for right now. I'll get you all your paperwork and I'll get you updated on what you need.
We'll sit down and crunch some numbers.
Yeah.
All right.
But I know when we do the wastewater treatment plant, that's
right.
going to take a load. I
Sound-
understand that.
Sounds good. Can I get a motion to table then?
I'll make a motion to table the lease agreement with Altoff Equipment for center pivot backhoe.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Finley.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Stefani.
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. Next item is request to have Illinois Municipal League give presentation on the different forms of government. McDermott.
Okay. Actually, I had it written a little bit different. But I'll read what I got. Okay. I got petition change for government. It has been made aware by social media and radio that there is a petition not to review or consider changing the form of government we now have, but in fact to change our government form. There are those who are stating that we, the council, are or should be the reason for this change. I assure you that's not the case. Okay? I feel that our obligation as elected officials to our community is to inform the citizens directly and not allow a misconception of the truth, and to inform them about the different forms of government, and to explain to all involved in everything which has a form of, such as a form of home rule or a city manager. This should not be taken lightly, and it is the informed voter who in fact makes the best decision. Gentlemen, this should be made public. Okay, hold on. For all, and we should include our planning commission for recommendations that they feel would fit our needs for our community. Then it should be brought to this council for approval of what is best for all residents in the city, not just a few, but all, okay? And understand before it is put on the election that everybody is informed and understands 100% what's going on. So, gentlemen, I would like to send a recommendation pertaining on this matter to the Plan Commission, if I may.
To the plan, you have here that the request is to have the Illinois Municipal League come to
I
the
know.
presentation. You want,
But it should go to the Plan Commission first. And then I would like to see it go, have an IML person here to do this.
okay.
It's not quite what I wrote. It got changed.
Something got changed on the agenda?
Yes. It's not what I sent Becky. I'm not blaming you, Becky, but I know it was changed and I don't know why.
Did you see it on Friday then by chance? Because this is what I saw on Friday.
I know.
Did you see a different version or?
I seen this on Friday. And Friday, it's too late to change it.
No, we can modify it all the way up until 6. We can modify it yet, but technically we can modify it all the way up until Saturday night, technically, if we want, if we needed to, because we've had to do that before a couple times. So,
Well, I just,
well, let's go around the
it's
room.
plain hard dogs.
Baldridge, any comments?
Pitch.
I'd like to reserve my time to hear everyone else's opinions.
Okay.
I'm gonna reserve my time until the next go around, and I'd like to hear what you have to say about all this. So,
Okay. Well, this is the,
I have nothing at this time.
okay. Since everybody's weighed in on it, a couple things I guess I'll say about it. The first thing is, I know the plan commission came up and stated that it has to go to the plan commission first. That isn't necessarily true. There's two ways this can get done. Like, for example, if you were to follow the route of Oregon, Illinois, that was generated from their city council. Their city council would, so for example, it was on our plan commission comprehensive plan back in 2009. It came off in 2020. If the plan commission did want to make a recommendation, a majority vote of the council could get a resolution moving to get it actually on the ballot. However, it could be also done like Mattoon, Illinois. Mattoon, Illinois just recently changed theirs, and theirs was
That's
not.
Mattoon, sir. I believe the correct pronunciation is
Okay.
Mattoon.
I appreciate that. Thank you for correcting my pronunciation
No,
in
I
the middle of me speaking. So thank you. I appreciate that.
It's okay.
Mattoon, their form of government was changed based on what the residents wanted to do. So it could be done either way. All I know is what's on the agenda here, which is to bring the Illinois Municipal League. If you want, I don't have a problem anybody coming to speak about something to give more education if that's what the plan is. But if you're saying you want that to say something different on the agenda, that's, I mean, I don't know if it's a concern to really even send it to the plan commission if that's what we wanted to do anyways, but.
Right. Well, I would think the plan commission might enjoy the presentation, so they have a more informed bit of information about any decision they might decide they want to make too. So I don't know. That's just my 2 cents.
Okay. Well, that's my 2 cents on it. Open floor. Anybody have anything they'd like to talk about?
sure, I'll go first. The IML was here in January, and we covered all of this. All of this was covered, and actually, it's available to the public to listen to. We released the audio, so that's available to them. And I want to emphasize this: when we're talking about stuff like changing the form of government, we're not spending the time on the important matters. Truly, you know, how do we pay for wastewater treatment plants and electric substations, which our predecessors were glad to send for design, but never explored how to pay for these big ticket items? It's statewide, there's currently a shortage of people entering the field of public safety, causing burnout amongst the existing first responders and resulting in employee retention problems. We've seen a preview of this already. Is hiring a city manager at the going rate of over $100,000 per year with benefits and changing the form of government going to solve those dilemmas? I assure you it's not. Yeah, I was listening to our friends on the radio several weeks ago, and they stated that there's a petition going around to change the form of government here in Oglesby. It appears the mayor's pushing this effort with a few of his supporters going to select homes to obtain the signatures. This type of proposition should be preceded by a study or public hearings and not just on the fly. The irony is that the people are being asked to sign something before even having a complete understanding of what the recourse or effect would be. The notion of sign here so we can get it on the ballot and then we'll inform you on it does not lend to transparency or honesty in any way. I would suggest to the residents that if there have not been any public hearings, formal studies, town halls before the fact, then when someone shows up at your door asking you to sign something, change a form of government, that you'd be highly skeptical. A couple of minutes on your doorstep by anybody, regardless of whether it is another resident or even an elected official, should not propel such a drastic change that would affect our city. Such a change should not be taken lightly or placed on a ballot until the public as a whole has time to understand the concept. Doing so would do nothing more than create yet another political divide, divert all of us up here from doing the positive things that move our city forward, and create more unwanted attention to our beautiful city here. That's my feeling on it. That's it. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. In all fairness, there will be a public comment on any topic that we can do for that.
Can I address the council?
Well,
Technically, it should be at the public comment on any topic. This would be the council's.
Down here?
Yes, yep. We'll get there probably within a few minutes though. Okay. My only 2 cents with that is just to make the public aware that I have had a conversation with the people on this council beforehand. And my understanding is that they was not an interest to speak about this publicly at a previous council meeting. So I have relayed that information to residents that have talked to me about this. And it is a resident-driven resolution, which has happened in Mattoon as well.
That's correct.
There you go.
you're fine.
Thanks. So there's different ways things can get on the ballot. So if a council refuses that they want to get it on the ballot, the residents have that right. So for people saying that it's to try to force the change, no, I don't think that's what it is. In my opinion, it's for people to want to.
I don't know.
I would object to that because you can put anything you want on the ballot, on the agenda. So it doesn't matter if the council doesn't want to talk about it. You're free to put it on there and you can make us talk about it. So that really kind of is a non-starter.
One at a time.
Sorry, would you care to elaborate when you spoke to the council and what you spoke to the council about with this?
I asked every council member if they were interested in talking about the form of government.
Was that in an email?
I don't recall.
Because I don't
I think
believe
it was
we've
at
ever
a
had
meeting,
that
wasn't
conversation. I think what he said was, "Oh, it's gonna happen." When I questioned it.
I don't remember that,
Yeah.
but
Another thing, are you going to confirm or deny your involvement in this?
I don't even know why that has any bearing on something like
Well,
that.
because I believe the constituents of this city elected you to a position to uphold what we currently have in that. And for you
I
to be
absolutely
trying to
do.
undermine the form of government, I kind of question what you're doing.
Great. Can I ask you a question then?
Sure.
Were you at the county trying to FOIA this?
I'll
piece of-
FOIA whatever I would like to,
So you're
Jason.
you're trying to FOIA the
I will FOIA
documentation to find out
whatever
who it
I am
was?
entitled to FOIA.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay.
I would just like to say I would have liked to have seen it. And I
Yeah,
wonder
there's a
if
lot of
everybody
sneaky
in
stuff going
town's
on.
seen it.
People
I
going
mean,
door
I
to door
haven't-
making up lies
Yeah.
and telling false statements. I don't appreciate.
All right. Well, I'm not sure what lies are being told.
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
And I'm sure if I haven't, there's quite a few more.
All right.
I can address one lie,
Whatever you'd like.
and that is that the statement has been made that there was $55,000 bill on that conference room there. And the questioning of that, I would like to put this on record that that is an absolute lie. The total came with everything included in that room, including felt tiles, chairs, rug, table, TV, clock, mini fridge, server cabinet, came to a total of $23,496.
What about the flooring and the maintenance? and
What
the-
flooring?
All this flooring.
You said conference room. This was
This
all
was
under
part
a
of that
different thing
project.
of $18,000. No, it was not. It was
I'm
a
not going to
separate
have a
project.
back and forth on
I
this.
just asked that people be honest and truthful.
Okay. How much was
I
the
have-
total, how much was the manpower and the labor for all the people?
Right here.
Is that included in that?
Yes, $15,605.
So 15,000 for the,
$15,000 for the construction of that room.
so 15,000 for the construction and 23 in material? Is that correct? What'd you say? Was it 23?
$23,000 total with the equipment that went in there, the felt tiles, the chairs, the rug, the table, the TV, the clock, the mini fridge, and the server cabinet. Came to us a total of $7,891. That's a far cry from
How
$55,000.
much for the flooring?
The flooring out here in the entire office out here was $18,000.
So that was part of that project.
So is that considered building a conference
Hey.
room? I know you like to manipulate things. I'm just trying to get a
Sure.
good understanding as to what's been lied about and what hasn't. I'm trying to show you numbers here.
Okay. Anybody have anything else they'd like to talk about? Okay. So where are we at here? We're at, what the official thing says is request to have Illinois Municipal League. Are you saying you want to modify that request instead of not being Municipal League to come talk? You want it to be something different?
Well, I think it should have we should probably go to the planning commission first. So I'll make a motion that we send it to the planning commission. And then with the possibility later, asking the IML to discuss everything.
Pat, let me ask
Can I
you
do
that. Is
that?
that a concern? I know if it would have been on the agenda beforehand, it wouldn't have been a problem, but it's technically not on the agenda.
Or should I
Yeah,
have to table?
the only
But
thing
it's
on
not
the
a table.
agenda is a request to have the IML give a presentation. So if you want something different, I think you should do it on the next agenda.
Yeah, you're gonna
Yeah.
want to talk to the planning commission. I think they can take it up on their own without us having to
Well,
necessarily.
if I'm not mistaken, they need guidance from us to do so.
They do not. That is
Ken,
not
is that correct?
We can set our own agenda.
Okay.
We can,
They can set their own agenda.
The fact that it was in the 2009 comprehensive plan, it was directed to the plan commission to look at it. There was no pressure at all back in 2009 up until current to even look at a different form of government. The first question is, why is that now that we're looking at a different form of government? And what form of government would be best for the city, as opposed to what I haven't seen the petition. But I understand it says that it said should the city change from commission form of government to something else, and it's identified. That may not be the best form of government in that petition. So I would disagree with that petition completely.
Okay.
If you want to look at different forms of government, number one, first thing you should ask is, why is this current form of government not effective? Number two, why is it effective in Ottawa, Princeton, and other places?
I appreciate that. So last thing I'll say about that is, I don't know if that statement is entirely correct. I was on the council back in 2019 and I questioned it. I brought that up to several people because when I got in as commissioner, and keep in mind, I have a relatively detailed knowledge of the difference between authority, accountability, qualifications, and training. And I thought there was a gross mismatch when I came in of how much authority a commissioner had based on the demonstrated qualifications and knowledge they had. I thought that was a real concern. And I can tell you that I'm not the only resident that believes that. So, all right. So what are we looking to do? If we don't want to request what's on here, did you want to table, or
Table the
Well,
request.
let's go ahead and we'll table the request
is that a motion?
for now. I'll make a motion
Can I get a
to
second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
thank you.
Aldrich.
Aye.
Finley.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Stefani.
Aye.
Kern.
No. Last item we have under new business is IGA with Oglesby Public Library. Stefanelli.
All right, so several months back, Commissioner Baldridge and I attended the library board meeting, and as you all know, we've been finishing up our intergovernmental agreements. This would be a 5-year extension of our current agreement, Pat, is that?
It's not the case, Tony. So your
Okay.
current agreement does not have a termination date on it. The current agreement, as I think I indicated you in an email, terminates when the last TIF district in the city of Oglesby ends.
Correct.
So it goes on perpetually, Tony.
Okay,
When I first started looking at this, I thought I was going to have to extend that termination date, but I don't. So the only really change that I discovered from my understanding of your conversations with the library board is that we're going to remove janitorial services from the list of services that you originally agreed to provide to the library district. Everything else, I thought, still complied with what your understanding of your relationship was going to be
Correct.
moving forward. So that's the ordinance I sent to you and Becky, was to, and there was an agreement there to modify the existing intergovernmental agreement, and then an ordinance to approve the new agreement and adopt that change. But it only really affects deleting janitorial services effectively.
okay.
Okay?
I would prefer that we not take any action this evening and allow the library board to consider it and possibly take action at their November 20th meeting, and then have us revisit it at our December meeting for consideration and passage.
I think that sounds
And
like a good
that
idea.
approach would be consistent with what we did with the schools as well. The only other thing that I would like to say, Pat, I was looking it over, the 2009 one and the one that you sent. You are correct about the janitorial part of it. The minor maintenance stuff, if a light bulb burns out in their marquee sign, I'm certain that we can still help them out with that kind of thing. I don't know if that has to be spelled out, but I'm on record saying that I would still support that type of assistance as far as having somebody in there every day to mop the floors and clean the washrooms and do all the basic general housekeeping. That was agreed that we wouldn't have to provide that anymore.
And those little things, Tony, aren't mentioned in here. So deleting janitorial services would simply require the city to provide electric utilities, water utilities, the removal of snow from library sidewalks and parking lot, and the mowing of libraries' grass and other miscellaneous landscaping services, period. Nothing about minor repairs or anything else. And again, I removed janitorial services. All the rest of that was in the original agreement. I just left that there.
Okay.
So I do think it's a good thing to let the library district board weigh in on it. I'm sure Becky can get my proposed agreement to them so that they can entertain reviewing it, and then we can take it up at another meeting, Tony.
Well, then that's the motion that I'll make when everybody's done here, is for you to either send it to the library board or Becky to send it to the library board, and then we'll see what they come back with.
Okay, let's go around the room. Finley, any feedback? McDermott?
I think it's cut and dried again. It's good.
Baldridge?
I agree with Commissioner Stefanelli.
Yeah, I agree. So for some clarification, the actual wording on it said that it would end when the last TIF ended.
Correct.
The interesting thing is, though, when it was signed, every TIF that was in existence at the time it was signed has now ended. There's only one TIF left, and that one wasn't in existence when the agreement was signed. So I kind of view it as that agreement has ended. They are actually getting more funding now. I understand the purpose of this. It's very similar to the agreement that you would have with the schools. With the schools, there's actually more formulas and stuff. They don't necessarily have that with the library, but they have been shorted some costs because of TIF. So I like the idea that we're trying to find ways to offset their costs to help them out. And to me, now that they're bringing in a little bit more money, reducing some of that scope and having our employees at the very least get out of the building, I think is a good start for that. So that's my 2 cents. If there's nothing else, if we can get a motion.
I'll make a motion that we send Pat's draft to the library for their consideration.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Finley.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Stefani.
Aye.
Aye. Number 16, public comment on any topic. Anybody who'd like to go? Yes, sir.
There you go, sir.
Would you like to come to the, okay?
You're fine.
For the record, my name is Tom Rivara. Come here tonight I want to thank the police department for helping us get the Legion to Memorial Park and for the services that was at the park. I'd also like to thank Holy Family School for bringing the memorial services into their curriculum for the day. And I would like to note that the students at Holy Family School collected $515, in which they donated to the Illinois Valley Veterans Associations. And at the conclusion of the services, Holy Family, through their speaker system and bells, played God Bless America. So sometimes we need to hear the good things that happen in Oglesby. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Anybody else? Oh, I guess whoever wants to go first.
Go ahead, go right ahead.
Okay.
So I brought a big speech, but I'm not going to use it since our first conversation. If I panic and put my finger up and say homogeneity, then I went back to my speech. I'm reaching out to you because I'm unhappy about the new sign that went up at the canoe landing on Ed Hand Highway at Tip Avenue. I'm not altogether unhappy that a sign is being placed there, I just don't like the nature of this sign. It's a commercial sign. It's a very busy sign. If you drove by it, which I'm imploring you all to do, if you drive by at 35 miles an hour during the daylight, or even now at night when it's really quite dark out there, and you look at that sign, it is too littered with information to be anything but a distraction and possibly a safety concern. There are 14 businesses that made the list. Apparently, they're all paid members to We Are Oglesby. My first assumption when I saw what looks like a strip mall sign was that these people have to pay a monthly fee to this organization. And I thought, well, if they're making money, but still, it's a very wooded, serene area. And here now on the west side of the street where the sun sets and you can see the wooded area, we have this very commercial, very sore thumb looking sign that has been erected. I was told when I made a phone call to the office here that I should reach out to We Are Oglesby. And then I found out that their intention was that this sign would hopefully grab some people that use the canoe landing and maybe bring them into the city. And then I thought about it more. If you do take 651st Street, you're either coming into Oglesby, you're going to the canoe landing, or you're going home on the east side. So everybody who goes past Fifth Avenue is already going to Oglesby. So that sign there doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. I don't think they even have their target audience represented in that sign. 8 of those businesses are not businesses. Somebody who is putting a kayak onto their car or a canoe are going to stop and say, I think I'll go and hire this tax service or this attorney or this painting company. I think that sign would do much better if it was over by Lewis Street and Walnut by McDonald's, where somebody may exit 39 and get some gas and be deciding where they're going to go catch a bite to eat or what they're going to do, because it is that nature of the sign. It's a commercial sign. Or it would be better to be placed at the bottom of that hill if it has to stay there because you're really trying to grab an audience there, away from the street, where I think it is a safety distraction based on how busy it is. If it was at the bottom of the hill and somebody's exiting, they can either read it on the way down or read it on the way out, and they can slow down on the way up and read it if they have to. But if somebody is driving on Ed Hand Highway, like I did the first time before we bought our house 6.5 years ago for Ed Hand Highway, Siri said, or Google Maps said, you have arrived, and I was right at that landing. So it was a little bit off, right? So I put my brakes on. If somebody sees that sign and they put their brakes on because they're like, what is that sign about? I think it could create a dangerous distraction. I don't see its purpose. So when we first moved here around 651st Street, we're coming down that hill, seeing some of the prettiest views of trees, coming back up the hill, seeing the wooded area again. It feels like you're in the country, like you're in the woods. And now we have a sign that doesn't add any compliment to that whatsoever. If you did do a sign there, if you needed a sign there, I think it should be something more old-fashioned that speaks to the city, perhaps with a map that identifies how close you are to both Starved Rock and Matheson State Park. And then it wouldn't target 14 businesses who are going to be the recipients of this grant money for who knows how long being advertised. Perhaps there could be a QR code or something like that, where they could gather all kinds of information about different businesses in the area. I did notice that 2 of the restaurants in town are up for sale. So maybe the sign that's going to draw people down to the canoe area could have a purpose where it's going to help people out who are trying to maintain a business or grow a new business. I don't see the value in that sign. And I'm hoping that you guys will encourage them to relocate it. I am having a conversation with them, although I am a little disappointed in them to call themselves We Are Oglesby and then to omit the residents, because I thought they should have included the residents on it. And I was told regarding my safety concerns, I understand you're worried about potential safety risks, but I kindly ask you to avoid making assumptions about future incidents. We do not believe that that current sign placement will contribute to accidents. I understand they're going to put a light on it. I don't agree. If you haven't seen the sign, I'm happy to show it on my phone. And then my concern about them not including the neighborhood. There's one neighbor who's very inconvenienced because it's right across from their house. Our organization ensured that all necessary legal requirements were followed during the process. While we are not obligated to seek input from the neighborhood, we understand that some members would have liked to be included in the discussion beforehand. That doesn't sound like we are Oglesby.
Sir, I hate to interrupt you, but there is a time limit. Is
I
there
understand.
something-
I'm finished.
Is there something you'd like to summarize real quick?
I would like the sign to be either removed, relocated down to the bottom of the hill, or put to the place where I mentioned on Lewis and Walnut, which makes more sense based on the type of sign that you bought. And I will tell you that all the neighborhoods that I spoke to also, they can't figure out what the purpose of the sign is.
I appreciate your feedback.
Is there any way that I can get a follow-up from this committee? Since it is my first time
So
for
for
you.
public comment, it's not required that people respond necessarily, but if you would like, have you attempted to reach out to the various elected officials or anything like that yet about this? Because I don't
It
think.
just went up. And
Sorry, say again?
it just went up on the 7th of November.
Oh.
So I was told that they got your permission. I was also told they had almost cut down several of the trees in front of my house and put the sign right across from the street.
It was voted on by the council. I'll say that. So anytime somebody sends me an email, I generally respond back to that. The other elected officials have that opportunity as well.
Have you seen it?
I have seen the sign, yes, sir.
Do you think it fits into the neighborhood?
I have other issues with the sign that's not related to that. So, but again, this isn't necessarily a back and forth opportunity.
No,
here.
I'm not trying to back and forth. I'm trying to say that there's a really lovely aspect about that neighborhood that has been vandalized by that sign.
I do appreciate your feedback.
And I do think a mayor should have an opinion on something as simple as that.
I did give an opinion when we voted on it.
Okay, well, I was asking you as a resident right across from it, what your opinion is, and that's something I have to research. I mean, you sound like we are Oglesby. We don't have to legally reach out to the community. I'm saying it's an old 90s strip mall type of sign trying to pull people into a city with 8 businesses that aren't going to do it. And it is an eyesore. And it's possibly a safety risk. So if this puts it on public notice, it is on public notice that the sign is too busy, that it may present a safety risk. And if somebody has an accident, then I can tell them, you can research this meeting, and then you can research what the mayor had to say when he voted on it, whenever that happened.
If I may, sir, that would be the June 17th meeting. You can go back and do your research. I've also done some research and I've collaborated with Mayor Oglesby throughout this process. That sign you say is dangerous is 15 feet back from the roadway. It's 25 feet back from Ed Highway. We did that purposely to alleviate any sort of hazards.
And that
I,
makes it legal.
First of all, would like to also state, I don't appreciate some of the contacts you've had with our clerk and the We Are Oglesby organization. It was very rude. It wasn't professional by any means.
So I'm addressing the council right now. So if you
I'm
want to have an
addressing
address
you,
with
sir.
me about what I've talked to We Are Oglesby about.
You asked for a rebuttal. I've given you
So
that.
then we can have that as a private conversation, but I will not be intimidated by you,
I'm not
sir.
being intimidated.
I've been here for
either.
6.5 years. You've never heard a peep out of me.
I've been here for 51.
Right. And that's just the problem. That's the same thing that happened with Angie. We are Oglesby, are people that have lived here forever. And we've not had an issue. We've been good neighbors. We've been good members of the community.
I've never said
It's a
you
nice
were.
wooded area. And now you're going to speak on behalf of We Are
Sir.
Oglesby?
Sir,
I'm not speaking on
Sir.
behalf of them. No. Did I say I was?
If you want to have a conversation with me,
Sir.
I'm happy to give you my business card. And I'm happy to have a card. I had a conversation about,
Sir,
sir,
please, calm down.
I'm not here to truncate your time. I just.
well, I
wanna be
don't think you
respectful.
should allow a member to be doing something like that either.
Okay. Remember
If you want to talk about what's happening
Well,
at
you're
this
not
meeting,
gonna
I'm
sit here
fine
and be
with
letting
that.
me
If you
Sir.
want to speak on behalf of
Sir.
someone at the meeting, then
Sir.
reach out to me.
If I
I'll sit
felt the
down.
council member was being rude, I would address it. I do not believe he was being rude. Okay?
Okay.
So I thank you for your comments. If you'd like to follow up with me at any point in time, I'd be very happy to
I'll be happy to
address that.
email you.
Because this is the first time I'm hearing about this. Okay? So I'd be happy to correspond with you, and I'm sure some of the other commissioners would as well. Okay?
I appreciate that.
Thank you, sir. All right.
I would like
Go ahead and email me.
to have Mayor Oglesby, if I may.
Absolutely.
I have a name.
Sir,
Sir, for the minutes, could we have your first and last name? I did not ask that. I'm sorry.
You can say a resident at Fort Hand.
well, we can't do
It's
that.
okay, don't worry.
Okay. Could I get your name?
My name?
My name, I don't feel like. it's
Excuse
about-
me, I would like to take my time. Thank you.
Go ahead. Sorry.
It's okay.
It's all right.
For the record, my name is Michelle Quaddick, and I would like to speak on behalf of We Are Oglesby as their marketing officer. On November 7th, Angie Partridge, our vice president, was contacted by Mr. Mark Schmatt with his thoughts on the sign. Angie and Nick made a point that day to meet in person with Mr. Schmatt to discuss. Angie reached out via email to communicate that we have heard Mr. Schmatt's concerns and invited him to meet with our board to discuss in person, which was left with no response. Mr. Schmatt has contacted Angie several times through email and text, and I believe that at this point, all of his questions and concerns have been addressed to the best of our ability. We have been told by Mr. Schmatt that everyone in the neighborhood disapproves of our sign, but we have yet to be contacted by anyone other than him. On the other hand, we have been contacted by many people in the community who have nothing but good things to say about our sign. We believe that our sign aligns with our mission statement of providing economic growth within the city of Oglesby. Mr. Schmatt's opinion is that it misses the mark. While we disagree with his statement, we do respect that he has the same right to an opinion as we do. Mr. Schmatt says that businesses that are on the sign do not align with our mission, but our argument is that the businesses that are on the sign felt as though it was a good marketing endeavor. We understand that Mr. Schmatt's worry for potential safety risks, but as he has stated, we kindly asked him to avoid making assumptions for future incidents that have not happened. We considered all potential risks, and we do not believe that our current sign placement will contribute to any accidents. We have taken Mr. Schmatt's comments into consideration, and at this time, we do not think it is in the best interest of our organization to move the sign, as it would take a significant amount of money and resources. To say a resident is inconvenienced by the sign, I think, is a reach. There are many signs that have lights on them that do not pose safety concerns for the city. We would be happy to reconsider this decision if we hear any more negative impact from other members of the neighborhood directly. After tonight, on behalf of We Are Oglesby, we're going to ask that Mr. Schmatt be respectful to our time and refrain from contacting us on this issue again unless he has a signed petition or verifiable information to present other than personal opinion or unconfirmed viewpoints from other people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May I have a little rebuttal to that? They never offered to have the board.
You've already spoken.
Sir,
And I'm not
Sir.
going to consent to that. You're a public organization. If I want to
Sir.
go ahead and tell you what I'm talking with it, I'm
Sir.
not going to give you their name. They didn't want
Sir.
to give you their names yet.
sir, you did have your time. I'm very respectful of your time.
But she got up and made comments that are untrue.
I understand. If you had somebody else that wanted to come up and rebut something this has happened before where everybody gets different time allotments. Your time allotment has been there. Your concerns have been heard. Okay?
And I'm gonna
Thank
make
you.
mine real quick, because you guys know I never get up there. But I am a
It's okay.
resident down there, by the way, sir. Did you hear me? I'm a resident down there.
Ma'am, you're usually addressing the council instead of attacking us.
And you should identify yourself, Lizzie,
My
for the
name's
minute.
Lindsay Mathill. I live at 334 Elm Street. I've been there 5 years. I also have a business here, as everybody knows. And I've been reviewing, when I was told about this, that this was going on, that there was somebody being negative about that. I'm like, what now? And all I can say is my grandson, he's 23, he's an avid disc player. And it's bringing people into town. They might not be out drinking and all that, but they're spending money at the restaurants. My grandson goes to a lot of places. He's been in your bar. He's just not a big drinker. And I asked him what he thought, and if he could give me some feedback about the players down there. If he's down there all the time, he plays all over Wisconsin, everywhere. That's how much he's into it. And he's, oh my gosh, Grandma, that looks so cool down there. They all loved it. They're all from out of town, these disc golf players, some of them, And then I have a lot of golfers that think it's cool. And then I have 2,600 friends on Facebook. So I took a picture of it and posted it. And I did not have one negative comment. So I'm supposed to address you guys. Sorry. So I just wanted to add my little 2 cents in that I think it's a groovy thing. And there's a lot worse in the world than some sign that's blocking your sunset. Thank you.
For the record, I'd like to add the Facebook thing that she addressed has 220 likes. They're in favor of the sign and 44 comments in favor of the sign.
All right.
Okay. My name is Austin Cullen, and regarding the sign, I have a few things, but regarding the sign, just two quick things. So as far as the sign is concerned, I think there was a concern expressed. I'm sorry, I didn't exactly remember your name. I don't want to mispronounce it, Mark. Mark expressed a concern about the sign not necessarily matching with the aesthetic of the neighborhood because the neighborhood's wooded and kind of takes away, so it's like a 1990s sort of strip mall type sign. And I guess I can see what he's saying, you know, different type of sign, whatever. But I would also argue, though, that having single family homes in that part of Oglesby also takes away from the nature of it too. But those homes are there and they're there to stay. So, I mean, it's not as perfectly serene as it once was. And I don't know the extent to which this takes away from that aesthetic as much as the homes that have been built there. But the other thing too, I would say, is there was a suggestion that We Are Oglesby is just a group of people who have lived in town for a long time, kind of entrenched sort of interests. And I mean, I'm not a member of We Are Oglesby. I've been to one meeting, but Michelle is not. I went to high school with Michelle. I'm a lifelong resident of Oglesby. She's not. And so she joined that organization presumably after moving to town. And I actually didn't know she moved to town until I saw that she was part of that organization. So I totally respect what you're saying, but I would also kind of say that it's important, and I would encourage this to everybody, it's important to be involved and engaged in just civic society or civil society rather. And so I would encourage anybody who has any kind of concerns or any sort of suggestions to join groups like those, because whether it's We Are Oglesby, whether it's the Knights of Columbus, whether it's our local churches, any of these community organizations, they could all benefit from additional input from anybody that lives in the community. But getting off of that topic, just I think I maybe had three other things. I'm going to try to go quickly. I'm also a trustee on the Oglesby Library Board, and just wanted to obviously thank the city for always being willing to work with us. Second thing, Jason, I know I've kind of come up here sometimes and had my fair amount of critiques of things that you do, whatever. But I do want to say, just the last few meetings, for the most part, I do think kind of the new approach that you've taken to recognizing other members of the council first and then letting yourself speak at the end, kind of as kind of just a summary or summarizing what they say and sharing your thoughts. I think that has worked much better. I mean, not to say it's perfect, but it's definitely been an improvement. The last thing is just regarding the change of government. I totally agree with Ken that this is something that needs to be discussed, or maybe it's something that should be discussed by the Plan Commission before residents are trying to put together a referendum on this issue. I mean, obviously, I know legally speaking that, you know, they can petition and have something placed up for referendum. That's fine. But I think they have an ethical obligation, or it would be best practice, maybe is the better way to put it, to kind of have or promote or facilitate a public dialogue about this sort of thing, rather than just getting a petition signed and throwing it on the ballot. And frankly, I actually don't really know who's circulating this petition. It hasn't come to me either. But I think I haven't heard anybody come up here for a public comment, or I haven't heard really any sort of public dialogue about this. And so I'm just going to say this to whoever is circulating it. I think you have an obligation to start a dialogue about this before you try and get it placed on the ballot. So just it's best practice, not necessarily the legal obligation. So that's it. Thank you.
Ethical. Thank you, sir.
Any other public comments? I'm sorry, Mr. Baxter, I know you've been waiting patiently. We don't normally have
That's
this
all
many public comments, so.
I am one of those people that are circulating that petition. So I guess I will address some questions here and tell you what I have found. I'll give you a little bit of background. I think I mentioned my name, Jay Baxter, for the record. I think everybody knows me. I've started my practice here over 30 years ago. I've had some interaction with the city and the school system. I've watched it over those 30 years go from a budget of $8 million up to $17 million annually. And I've watched this form of government operate for many years. Overall, I mean, Oglesby has progressed, but I think there are some inherent flaws in this form of government. As far as taking it to the planning commission, I wasn't aware it was the planning commission's obligation or it was something they should be involved in. But I also heard that it was in the comprehensive plan in 20, and the city council threw it out. So they apparently weren't real interested in it. So sometimes when the powers to be do not respond as they should, you have to go down to a grassroots level. And that's what I view this as, is a grassroots level movement. Okay, the advantages, what we're proposing is a city council with the mayor and a city manager. Okay, and excuse me, the mayor and the councilman would be responsible for hiring the city manager, and they would be responsible for firing him if he didn't do what he was supposed to do. They would give direction to the city manager. He would not be allowed just to go spend the city's money. There would be constraints put on him and limitations. The problem I have with the present form of government is we get 4 people in here, maybe the same ones we had last time, maybe a different group, okay? And I'm not going to mince any words here. There have been many people that have run vendettas by running to get people out of jobs, okay? And I've seen other things happen which were not in the best interest of the city, okay? So I think that is one thing. I don't agree with one person having control over a department, okay? I think that person should be directing the department, that's fine, but I think any serious matters should come back to a group or someone that is like the city manager. It's his job, I should say his or her job, because actually I believe Bloomington or Normal has a very good female city manager, for what I've been told. And also, I do want to make the point, I believe now Princeton is a city manager form of government. So things are changing. Statistics, 57% of the municipalities, are my understanding, are city manager format. You have less than 4% with the commissioner form. It's going by the wayside, okay? And the reality is you got a $17 million business here. And we are asking people that run for an office to come in, jump in, and run departments, may or may not have training, may or may not have the skill set to do the job. And then 4 years later, guess what? We get to elect another set. So there is no continuity there. If, one guy does it 1 year, and next year someone else does. There is no continuity. If we had a city manager in, hopefully we could keep that person for a long period of time, there would be some continuity going forward. And that would be a big plus, to have the continuity, have somebody trained to do this type of thing, and have the skill set to do it. Okay, that's what they're trained to do. That's what they've done, hopefully, in the past. So they have the skill set to do it. So those are the 2 reasons I think I'd like to get away from this, is because of these inherent flaws I see in this form of government. And just to give you a little bit more background, I have walked the streets with this. Okay, I mean, I have literally gone up and knocked on doors and talked to people. I have a petition with 40 signatures on it. 2 of them are 2 of them being my wife's and mine, but I have 38 other people that have signed this. I have had 2 people refused to sign this for various reasons. I've had 4 or 5 that didn't want to sign it for political reasons, we will say. And I've had 4 or 5, and this addresses your point, they want more information. Okay, and that is a valid point. I will
Thank you.
not argue that with them.
I appreciate that.
Okay? And I have said, we've had some discussion. My feelings were, we put it on the ballot, get everybody's attention, which apparently we have, because that was part of my thoughts on this. I have been saying this for 30 years, okay? And something finally clicked. And so we got everybody's attention. We said before, once we knew we were going to get it on the ballot, we would contact Illinois, whatever it is, municipal group, and
I don't
have
know.
them educate the people so they would understand what they were voting
Would that be before they put it on the ballot or after it's on the
on
ballot?
after.
That's the problem.
I understand what you're
People-
saying, but I also will say this to you.
Yes,
How
sir.
do I know we're gonna go through, the planning commission's gonna do it, and then we're gonna dump it back in your lap? And how do I know this council is gonna agree to it? Even
Sir,
if I've got the
you
map.
said it yourself,
What?
that this council changes quite a bit.
Mhm.
You also said, now correct me if I'm wrong, the city manager gets voted by the council.
That's correct.
When they leave, what's to stop them from saying, we're getting rid of this city manager?
There is none, but you
But
have
what
to.
you need to do is people need to be informed.
I
Okay?
agree.
I 100% believe that, and that's how I feel.
I agree, okay, and that's
And-
fine. You and I have sat there and watched this, and I don't have any faith, quite frankly,
You gonna chair?
From what I
What do
have
you want to do
seen,
here? It's been at
that it
least
would
5
get through the
minutes.
city council.
Okay, you're the chair.
Well-
Okay, and that, you're putting me, and I am a firm believer the power is with the people.
Absolutely.
Okay, and let me finish as to what I have found.
Jay, do you have
Canvas.
anything that you want to summarize real quick?
No.
I know,
Very quickly.
It's part of my fault.
I know, that's why I didn't stop, because a council member wanted to engage.
Yeah, I have 38 people besides my wife signatures. Okay, I approached, if you do the math, I have 12 people that didn't sign for various reasons. I have 50 people. I talked to 50 people. That is over 75% of the people I talked to want the change. And just so there's no misunderstanding, I also told them, you're probably looking at a 6-figure salary. I told them that, because I know in this town, everybody's gonna have a fuss because it's 6, but you already got 3 employees making more than $100,000. So, you know, I'm the guy managing the whole city or the lady managing the whole city, I think they're worth $100,000 easily.
And you got councilmen not even over $300, sir.
I agree. I was the city
Come on.
treasurer and got 100, so.
Yeah, I understand.
So with
But
that,
let me tell you, my heart's into it,
Chair.
but I actually believe that
Council has the right to engage.
we need to
But this can go
be
on all
informed.
night.
Everybody.
you've been informed of what I think, and like I said, if they want to run it through the planning commission, that's fine. I don't know where it's gonna go. But I will tell you, if it's advised by the planning commission and it doesn't go through, you need to remember, I just told you 75% of the people want to change.
Thank you, Jay. I appreciate it.
50.
Any council members, I saw that you wanted to speak. Did you want to address anything?
Well, I appreciate him coming up, and I understand it's a certain percentage of 50 people. And this, I know we're a small town, but we got over 3,000, and we got to take care of everybody. I'd also like to state about the sign. Sir, I apologize that you have a concern about that sign, but it gives opportunity for our businesses to grow. And I would be for putting another one up alongside of it.
All right. Thanks, Mac.
Have a good day.
Did you have something you wanted to address?
My name is Patty Eichelkraut, resident and employee. So I want to start by just saying that continuity starts with good management and leadership. Doesn't matter what your wage is.
Thank you.
As a resident, I just want to say if it weren't for the chatter on the radio, that this would not have really been discussed until it ended up on the ballot. And so I'm grateful for the radio bringing it out so that we have time to inform ourselves, because that's when I found out about it as well. My questions that came to mind right away were, what would the wage be? As Commissioner Stefanelli said, we have large projects upcoming. How does the wage and the benefits impact the city? Did anyone who thought that this may have been a good idea to put on the ballot think to ask the city clerk what the finances are and if it can fund a position of that size? Health insurance alone for a single employee costs the city over $8,000 a year, and then you have IMRF future rate increases to be factored in as well. As an employee, negotiations are coming up. Some departments have received wage increases outside of the scheduled annual raises. How does this affect future raises for employees, especially those other departments who have not received unscheduled increases? I think the biggest question should be, how does this change of government benefit the city, its residents, and its employees? It's no secret that some members of the council don't play well with one another. If simple council votes result in pissing contests, why should we believe this isn't yet another way to stick it to somebody? I hope residents do homework and vote for what they know to be right and not what someone told them is fact. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patty.
That's it.
Any other public
Thank you.
comments over any topic? If not, we'll move on to commissioner reports. Number 17, Commissioner Stefanelli.
Okay, this past week, I met with our city treasurer and the city clerk to work on our levy, which has to be approved here very soon. I'll be placing it on file at the next meeting as we need to approve it before the end of December. And I thank them for their time and all their help with it, because without the two of them, this would not be very easy. With regard to the comments this evening, especially Mr. Baxter, you live right down the street from me. You're my neighbor, and there is nothing that I would want than the best for our neighborhood. I think we both share that. The thing that I do think is unfortunate is that all the neighbors around me were approached. You've never said anything to me about it, and I'm happy to sit down with you and talk about anything that you want to talk about. I'm a nice enough guy, and I have no axe to grind. Truly, if this is something that we're talking constructively, I would gladly give you the time. I think when we talk about the 38 people, we're in a town of 4,000, if we want to put it in true perspective here. You said you. So is it my time, or what are we doing here?
I get it. You are addressing them directly, though, but it is the commissioner's report opportunity.
And I'll be glad to talk to you after the meeting, truly. If you want to take the time and you want to talk to me, I'm glad to give you as much of my time as you would like. But I do want to just address the certain parts that I let you speak to. I didn't interrupt you. As we sit up here, all of us have some stress to some degree. This is not easy. And I know I speak for any elected guy that sits up here. There's a lot of stress that goes into the decisions that we make, and none of them come easy. I would encourage to anybody that feels strongly about it, put your good name on the line and come up here. We had to fill a vacant position. And I would just say that when it comes to these decisions, like I stated earlier, these are not things to take lightly. They need to be discussed through. The public as a whole should be informed on the matter. And I even offered to go on the radio to have a nice conversation with them about it, because I do respect them and what they do. And I actually took a pass for the moment because I thought it would be appropriate for the mayor to go first in his role as public relations. That would be me being respectful of his role as public relations. So I'm still willing to do that. I'm going to do that if the opportunity is granted to me. And I hope that all this stuff that gets blown out of proportion like this can be brought back down to a civil way, because we can do better than that. And we owe the residents of this community a lot more than that. And anything that comes up like this, I don't think it's just the council needs to make the decision on it. I think the whole public needs to be informed, not just run door to door with a petition and say, sign here, and then you can vote on it. We'll talk about it after you sign. So that's all I have to say about that. And I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Commissioner Finley.
Yes, just gonna ask everybody to bear with me. What I have to say is a little lengthy. I was glad to see the petition topic on tonight's agenda. It's a serious topic that deserves all of our attention. On November 1st, I was a bit shocked to hear it live on WLPO radio broadcast that the city was looking into changing its form of government. One of the radio hosts stated that they would reach out to our mayor for more details. On November 2nd, I was contacted by two Oglesby residents. Both asked me about someone coming to their house, asking them to sign a petition to change our form of government. Also, both stated that this person was very vocal about his dislike for certain council members. I told both of these residents that I had no idea about a petition to change our form of government was circulating in our city. I assured them Mayor Curran should be addressing this topic at our November 4th meeting, considering that WLPO have reached out to him maybe for more details on this topic. However, Mayor Curran never addressed this serious topic on November 4th council meeting. I found this to be very disturbing. Why wouldn't Mayor Curran want to inform the council of this serious topic? The answer is quite clear, because for the last several months, Mayor Curran has been fully aware of the efforts to change our form of government. This should make every Oglesby resident, business owner, and employee very upset. No council members should use their position for their title for personal gain or revenge. And this is exactly what I believe Mayor Curran has done. When a healthy-minded council works in a positive way, good things will happen for the city of Oglesby and its residents. However, when a council is filled with hostility, anger towards each other, pettiness, lack of trust, or a mindset of sticking it to each other, when you don't get your way, no good will come of this kind of behavior. Instead of using his position in a positive way, Mayor Curran chose to do the opposite. If Mayor Curran strongly objected to our current form of government, why didn't he use any of the resources at his fingertips to seek all the facts and information of why we have this form of government? He could have easily reached out to the Plan Commission. They're very knowledgeable and would have been able to provide insight on why we have this form of government or why it works for a city of our size. To my knowledge, Mayor Curran did not contact the Plan Commission. Mayor Curran could have reached out to the city of Ottawa and the city of Princeton, both of commission form of government. He could have asked their officials if they are pleased with their form of government, or maybe see what they do differently from us. To my knowledge, Mayor Curran never reached out to either city. Mayor Curran could have reached out to the Illinois Municipal League. He could have asked for an IML representative to address our community with the pros and cons of changing our form of government, or to have it explain why our current form of government works for Oglesby. To my knowledge, Mayor Curran never contacted the IML. The city has on file a comprehensive plan which gets reviewed periodically. The comprehensive plan lists many broad topics which serves as a basic guideline for the council and board members in making future community development decisions. One of the topics listed in the 2009 comprehensive plan for the city is they could seek information about changing the form of government. However, in late 2019, the city council made revisions to the 2009 comprehensive plan, removing the topic of seeking information about changing the form of government. On February 18, 2020, the city council, which included Commissioner Curran, voted unanimously to accept the 2020 comprehensive plan as presented. So while Mayor Curran served as commissioner, he approved to remove the language to seek information to change our form of government, leading one to believe he was satisfied with our current form of government. But as mayor, he has changed his tune. After the 2019 election, the council revised the responsibilities of the commissioners. While Mayor Curran served as commissioner, he was responsible for the departments of water, sewer, electric, and streets. That's a lot of power for one person. After 2023 election, the council responsibilities were revised to return the balance of power evenly among the council. At this same time, Mayor Kern willingly forfeited his mayoral responsibility of overseeing the Park and Rec Department and all city buildings and property. The electric commissioner inherited these responsibilities. To sum it up, it's very simple. As Commissioner Curran had the power, as mayor, Curran has no power over the department since he gave his department responsibilities up, all done by his choice. To my knowledge, I don't believe Mayor Kern responded to WLPO. Why wouldn't Mayor Kern respond to WLPO's request? Their request would require a simple answer of yes or no. Yes, I am aware of the city looking into changing the form of government, or no, I'm not aware of this. WLPO has a large radio audience. This would be a great resource to use to inform the public of what is happening to our city. If Mayor Kern did respond to WLPO, I missed it. Most importantly, what is going to cost the taxpayers? How does this change benefit our city and taxpayers? To my knowledge, Mayor Kern or the people who are circulating the petition had never reached out to the city clerk, accounts, and finance commissioner to see if the city can afford a city manager's position or the cost of changing the form of government. Mayor Kern will put his own spin on this topic. He will want to believe that he didn't have any hand in any of the efforts to change our form of government. It's a lie. He's been part of the process for months, doing his best to undermine the council, or as he would say, stick it to them. By seeking revenge on certain council members, he is hurting the entire community. In closing, I have always will encourage any residents or business owners to voice their concerns. If the process of this petition to change our form of government was created with the best interests of the residents and taxpayers at hand, and the residents and taxpayers had been provided all the information and facts, I will respectfully acknowledge their action and signatures. Unfortunately, this petition wasn't created with the best interests of the residents and taxpayers. It was created to benefit only one person, Mayor Curran. To the residents and taxpayers who have signed this petition, you deserve an apology from Mayor Curran. He did not provide the facts or his main motive to the people who are circulating this petition for your signature. Fact is, he wants to control and remove what say the commissioners have over their departments. Motive is out of spite and revenge for certain council members. Your best interests are the furthest thing from his mind. You don't need to take my word for it. Just look at his action and lack of transparency and honesty. Changing the form of government will not solve the issue. Changing the people that are running your government will. Thank you.
Commissioner McDermott.
First off, I'd like to thank you, Don. I appreciate it. The form of government is very important. I appreciate everybody that came up here, whether you agree with me or not. It's something that we need everybody to know 100%. Knowledge is power. And when you give a person the ability to understand, your best voter is one that knows and understands what he's voting for. I appreciate it. As far as the signs go for We or Oglesby, I think that's great. I think we need more. I wouldn't even be against another one being put up there. But anyway, we're going to extend the leaves, picking up the leaves. But let's keep in mind, next week is a holiday. Okay, Thursday and Friday is holidays. So they're going to ask that you put your leaves on the burn by Monday. If residents can't make that, we have a leaf pile behind the city street department shed. You're more than welcome to dump there during business hours. Let's see. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for everything. Have a good night, everybody.
Commissioner Baldridge.
I'd like to address the change of government proposition. Some claims have been made that our council does not function in a professional capacity, and today I want to make it abundantly clear. There is not one single issue or stunt that has transpired within this council that was not a direct result of or directly involving issues arising solely from Jason and his art antics. He has created a hostile environment within every facet of our city government. Since he now wants to bring our form of government to the forefront, let's discuss the underlying complaint: power. When this council was seated, we took being elected to represent our fellow constituents seriously. This, in fact, caused great conflict within Jason's perceived role of the mayor. In the past, as many of you have witnessed, the previous council allowed the mayor and Jason to have much more liberty to make most major decisions than were actually theirs to legally make. When this council was elected, we realized many functions and duties former mayors had taken were not actually powers delegated to the mayor's role by ordinance or statute. That is the very short version of what some have misperceived as stripping the mayor of powers. I urge my fellow citizens of Oglesby to not be deceived and misled by a few people who have been manipulated and given false information in order for one person to make an underhanded attempt to push his own selfish agenda. Our city has had disputes. Who hasn't? 5 people elected at random to represent the entire city should have productive disputes and constructive disagreements. It's part of any relationship, and especially governing. The issue I'm pointing out tonight to all of you is that the rest of this city is able to work issues out behind the scenes and be professional in our meetings. This mayor has had conflict with 10 commissioners in his 5 years, 6 months of service. It is apparent that he can't work with anyone, let alone behind the scenes, without disparaging, insulting, and threatening even his fellow elected officials. If anyone would like to see any examples of these claims, I will happily provide them after this meeting. I also would like to, for those of you who may not have heard, We Are Oglesby has put up their sign down at the canoe landing. I'd like to thank and congratulate them for all their hard work and dedication to accomplishing this goal.
Thank you. We are Oglesby. Congratulations.
Sir, please.
And you are correct.
He can be removed.
Sir, could you please remove him? One of our things that we have is we can't allow profane language here. Thank you. Please continue.
Signs, downtown signs will be removed after Thanksgiving, and Christmas lights will be going up. I'd like to also thank Kathy Edens for her 18 years of services and happy retirement. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Next item, 18, Mayor's Report. All right, let me try to get through the items I need to. First one is Turkey Trot. It's a staple event here in Oglesby. There's a $30 sign up if you sign up by the 26th or through the day of the 26th. It's 9 a.m. Thanksgiving Day at the Elks. Should be a great time as always. Number 2, I'd like to give a huge thank you to Kathy Edens and congratulations on her retirement after 18 years of service to the Oglesby Ambulance Department. You know, a lot of times we give a lot of thank yous to retirees for the city, but this one in particular, I mean, directly resulted in people's not just livelihoods, but their lives, right? Her expertise, her knowledge, and her care, and the amount of hours that she worked, there are definitely Oglesby residents that probably would not be here today without her. So I thank her very much. Number 3, Santa's Magic Mailbox is officially open at Seneca Square. Now for the last item, I did not prepare a speech. Boy, oh boy, did I wish I would have. I'll address the first thing that has me very upset by former Mayor Don Finley. Now, some of the things he said is completely falsehoods, some falsehoods by intention. Some of them he's probably just misinformed on. For example, the Plan Commission. I have addressed this with the Plan Commission. If you ask the Plan Commission head, he would tell you that I have addressed him on this for a couple of years actually in a row. I have talked to other cities on their form of government, one of them being Princeton and Mattoon. I talked to their mayor not too long ago, the process that they went through. Dixon was the situation as well. I talked to Streeter. I've talked to a lot of different cities about this. I talked to Farmer City and how they went their process. So I have talked to other ones. I have talked to Brad Cole directly about this with the IML. So those are things he might just be misinformed on that I haven't even done. Now, for some of the lies, one of the ones he does know. He knows for a fact the reason I was on board with giving up the authority for the Park and Rec Department and building maintenance was because I truly believe with the conflicts I saw, and I've explained this before, and he knows this, the conflicts I've seen in the past, there's actual value in the mayor not having any direct employees. I willingly gave that up so the commission, to support commission form of government. They would have the employees, the mayor would be HR, and therefore if there's ever an issue where someone's going to get terminated or there's a problem or a conflict, the mayor would be brought in. But then shortly after, they've changed the policies on that and gave it the ability where they now have the sole authority to terminate on their decision only, right? So he knew that one. Cost affords. There has been I know they're going to try to spin it of why we need to change our form of government because or why we shouldn't because it's going to cost too much. The fact of the matter is there's already 3 people in the city that make over $100,000 a year. We have spent an incredible amount of money on things that this is just my opinion, but this is where the residents will have to weigh in once they know the facts. If they believe that we've spent a significant more than that on wasteful things that I think because commissioners are directly in charge of departments making poor decisions, but that's an opinion, right? So this whole process would not even would not gain the mayor any more authority. In fact, it reduces the mayor's authority even more. It takes, and if we want to have, I was all on board with what was on the agenda here. If we wanted to have the IML come talk about this, because I know what they're going to say. I know what they're going to say. They're going to say that this actually empowers your council more to be in all the departments instead of just their specific role. I don't even know who the 10 commissioners are. That doesn't even make any sense to me. There's only a total of 9 altogether, so I don't even know who the 10 are. I don't know. I could go on and on about this. I'm very disappointed about that, but that's okay. The truth of the matter is why I think people wanted to go around and not want to be on the radio necessarily about it is because there has been, I'll just say there is a perception that certain commissioners are out to get people that are signing. There's been people that wanted to, didn't want to sign. But if I understand right, some of the conversations I understand is there's people that say they're 100% on board with changing our form of government, but they don't want to sign the petition because they're afraid someone's going to see it. Fact in point, I mean, you have one of the commissioners, because he thought it was actually turned in already, went down to the county courthouse or our county clerk's office to try to FOIA it to find out who they are.
Let me correct
Hold
you.
on. I wanted to know what it was. No. I did not speak a moment when I had a man over there throughout lies all day long. I waited. I patiently.
Okay, I
Is that here?
apologize.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for that. Where was that? I don't know. I didn't write a speech, so I probably should have. So to me, it's up to the residents what they want to do. I've had this thought. Oh, then that's the other thing I want to talk about. My question is, how was this on the plan commission's radar from 2009, but it was never discussed once until 2020? It wasn't until 2020 until I found out that it was already in the previous one and got pulled out. I don't know why that is. As a matter of fact, I was on the plan commission for 2 years prior to becoming a commissioner, and we didn't have a single meeting. So I think at least our boards are getting more engaged now. So in my opinion, it's up to the residents what they want to do. Have I been part of this process? I guess that could be true in some regards, because a lot of residents have talked to me about these concerns and what they can do and what can happen to be done. So I did a lot of research. I took the time. I've talked with Brad Cole. I talked about what the processes are. It is true that one of the methods that can be put on the ballot is generated from the council. That could be from the plan commission, or it could be a simple majority vote to direct the attorney to draft a resolution to put it on. That can happen, right? But the truth of the matter is, there's a lot of states or a lot of cities. Matter of fact, if you want to call and talk to the city of Mattoon, you will find out that their commissioners did not. They had a vast majority that did not want to change it because they wanted to maintain their authority and do the things that they want to do. So it was a resident-driven decision that got it changed. So if that happens here, that's great. I have no problem bringing in any representative we want to talk from a professional organization about different forms of government. Because in my opinion, I've said this before, when I got in 2019, I recognized that the amount of authority that one person has does not match the proven qualifications and certifications that they were able to give to the residents. So that's my 2 cents. Whatever the residents want to do, I'm 100% on board with it. So that is all I have. I know I just feel like I've taken away from the Santa's magic mailbox now, but okay. That's all I have. Number 19 is adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'd like to clarify, the reason that I did go for the FOIA was because we had no knowledge of anything. I do have the time, Jason. We haven't adjourned. Thank you.
You want to just talk about it then?
Yep. Go for it.
We're not adjourned, so I guess it's just open floor after the mayor's report. Sure, whatever you want to talk about, go ahead.
I just wanted to clarify, you were making an accusation which was false, like you always do. So I just wanted to
Did I make an
clarify.
accusation?
Yes, you did.
I asked
You made
the-
a false accusation.
First of all, I didn't 100% know. I asked the question. Were
I'm
you
not
there?
arguing with you, Jason.
So you were there.
Were you at a local bar plotting and scheming?
Plotting and scheming?
Your words.
Plotting and scheming.
Yeah.
I don't know what my words are, but plotting and scheming.
Exactly that.
Okay. Well, do we want to keep talking or do we somebody want to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
All right,
Let's
roll call,
go.
please.
Thanks, everybody.
Aldrich,
Aye.
Finley,
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Stefani,
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. We are adjourned.